My 44-year-old female, mom 64, is a little too in love with my ex-husband, 43, even though it's been 13 years since our divorce was finalized. My ex and I had one child together, a son who is now in his mid-teens. My mom is hung up on my ex being a good dad and an extremely loyal person, also a nice person, except when he's particularly frustrated. Our divorce was caused by my disliking his lack of motivation to improve himself and to build a financial safety net. Instead, he was okay making $17 an hour for a niche artsy small business where most of the employees were there because their passion outweighed their salary expectations. He was a college graduate doing a lot of office management stuff that would have been paid more in every other company. He refused to see reason when I tell him that he needed to jump ship before the ship that was a small business being outcompeted in price would sink. Eventually, we realized this was a conflict we could never agree on, and I decided to pull the plug. Since then, I've moved on with a boyfriend, 49, whom my mom dislikes passionately. She constantly taunts him by saying he wins all arguments because he raises his voice so loud that everybody else's voices go out. My boyfriend is an executive VP working in the venture capital industry. We have 2 daughters together, young teen and pre-tween, but he refuses to discuss marriage because he said my first marriage didn't work out, so why would I want to go down that path again? Between co-parenting and my boyfriend being my son's de facto stepdad, my ex and I moved on from being exes to being friends. We're each other's emotional support, and he deals with my boyfriend's type A executive personality well, which I appreciate. My boyfriend and I have problems because he loves explaining himself, especially with regard to what he deserves from other people. He thinks other people must pay their dues to be on his level. I've compared the emotional labor I've had to put into somebody expecting me to run at the same pace as an Olympic sprinter. My boyfriend lectures me when I'm insecure about other women and refuses to do anything. I'm dealing with hormonal issues, and he takes it personally when I'm not always bubbly and smiling in his presence. He recently said he wanted a break, and I honestly wanted a break from his type A demands. I decided to move out, and my ex is driving Uber now since the company he worked for closed. So we agreed I would move in and take care of his son and my daughters while he works or job hunts. My mom is over a lot now, and the other day she said I'm acting like myself again. I was fine with her joking that for my 45th, I should tell my boyfriend to kick rocks, but I wasn't fine with her saying that my ex was a good man and I lost a good man in him. I thought that was inappropriate and not true, and I told her to leave my apartment. She said it wasn't even my apartment, but she seemed to have hit a nerve. Am I the idiot? So your ex-husband took your assumingly unemployed self in with your 3 kids, 2 of whom aren't his, letting you live off of him again as your emotional support human. So you're mad at your mom for pointing out that he's good and a possibly better man than the boyfriend who refused to marry you, who has a domineering personality, who treats you like an inconvenience. Girl, you got your priorities all messed up. You are the idiot, and your ex-husband is a saint for dealing with your BS. I'm siding with Grandma on this one, LOL. Her ex was working, not just rich enough for her, and she dumped him to go target a rich man. The rich boyfriend who wants a break. Yeah, break equals finding himself a younger model without menopause issues and entitlement, is fed up with her. She dumped her husband because she was a gold digger. She got dumped by her boyfriend because she's a gold digger. To be more specific, she got dumped because she's an old gold digger with a body that's been through 3 pregnancies. Oh, the irony. The mom just pointed out that her ex-husband is a good guy, and she's kicking her out. Like, what? Her ex-husband is a good person. Seems like OP doesn't like being told the truth, or when she's wrong. A missed detail. OP's divorce was finalized 13 years ago, and the oldest kid with the rich idiot is also that age. She cheated and got pregnant LOL. And she didn't even get a ring on it after 2 kids. Yikes. Worst gold digger ever. Honey, you better be nice to your mom because she's going to be the next person you end up having to mooch off of when both of these guys get sick of your crap. I lost my daughter, Abby, 7 years ago. She was married to Scott and had 3 children with him, who are now tweens and a teen. Scott and my grandkids stayed part of the family, and last year Scott remarried. His current wife is Beth. We all knew Beth for a few years before the wedding, and she was always very friendly, though at times she could be a little pushy. Scott would always handle that, though. After they got married, Beth's pushiness got worse, and Scott appeared to have lost control. Beth was upset when she dropped my grandkids off one day that we had not added photos of her to our house and commented as such. Our living room has a display with pictures of our kids and their weddings. She felt her and Scott's wedding should be there. She was upset when my grandkids spent Mother's Day with us and our extended family, and we didn't include her. Scott wasn't invited either. Mother's Day is difficult for him due to a bad relationship with his mother, but Beth said we should invite her too because she's part of the family, and then she said she's one of our kids too. I asked her what she meant, and she told me she's going to be one of our kids now, that she's the mother figure for our grandkids. I told Scott what she said, and he was embarrassed and told me he would speak to her. Beth was always upset when my husband posted on Facebook to say something about our kids, and she didn't get mentioned as one of our kids, but as Scott's wife. We mentioned Scott and how wonderful he was to Abby and how wonderful he is as a father. We were all together for my grandson's birthday, and he wanted a mom's side photo. Beth attempted to get into the photo, and when Scott tried to remind her, she said she was part of the family now. He pulled her aside and the photo was taken without her, but she told one of my sons after that she felt like we weren't treating her as a daughter, and then said Scott had never treated her as a lesser wife. We saw them a little over Christmas, and Beth was upset that we just got them a joint gift for her and Scott, instead of getting her one alone. She told me she's tired of feeling like she's not really family, and said she feels like we always put Abby first when she's here now. I saw red after this, and I told her she could never take my daughter's place, and that the fact she ever thought she could was outrageous. She told me the kids call her mom, and they think the world of her, so why wouldn't we? I told her the kids have always called her Beth when I hear them, and she turned around and said that's our fault because the kids should be calling her mom and they don't. She lost it from there. Beth stormed out, and I explained what happened to Scott. He apologized and left the kids with us so he could speak to her. I think they worked it out, but Beth said I was needlessly cruel to imply she's not as good as Abby and doesn't deserve to be our daughter. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I mean, she sounds unhinged. No logic would suggest she would ever be like a daughter to you, even if your grandkids do consider her a mother figure, now or in the future. That's not a transitive relationship. She's married to your daughter's widower. That's it. There's no familial relationship between her and you. If she's consistently pushing this gonzo, replace Abby, in every aspect of her life agenda, that's honestly kind of scary. It sounds really weird. You've included Beth in what you're comfortable with, but you're not obligated to treat her like your daughter. It's bad enough that Beth's trying to erase Abby as the kid's mother, but to try and replace Abby as OP's daughter is disgusting and disrespectful. Are we sure Scott and Abby didn't cross paths with Beth before Abby died? I'm not saying Scott cheated, but Beth sounds obsessed with becoming Abby or taking Abby's life for herself. I'd like to know what's going on in the house. Are Abby's pictures still up? Are the kids allowed to talk about their mother at home? I mean, this can't be a compartmentalized thing, right? If she's this obsessed with becoming Abby to Abby's parents, what is she saying to teachers and everyone else in the kids' lives? The fact that she had to physically be held back from getting into stepson's mother's side of the family pic is super alarming. My daughter, teen, caused a huge amount of damage to the family car around May. It was 100% her fault since she was texting while driving and went off the curb. She was fine, but the wheels and axles got messed up badly. It would cost about $3,000 to get it fixed. Luckily, our insurance covered that, even though our rates did go up, so the car got fixed up. My wife and I decided she needed to pay it back as a punishment, so we had her get a job, fast food, and have been collecting her money after every pay period. This got back to my sister, and she blew up on me about stealing from our kid and called me an idiot. I need an outside opinion. The money we're taking goes into her college account. Her paychecks are pocket change to what my wife and I bring in. We don't need it. We're doing it as a lesson. That's it. Am I the idiot for taking my daughter's paycheck for the whole summer? Not the idiot. Actions have consequences. If she's old enough to have a driving license, she knows not to text and drive. Next time, she'll be more responsible when driving a vehicle that's not hers. Plus, that could have resulted in a serious car crash or hurt a third party. Your sister needs to mind her business and let you parent your kid. The money is the direct cost of her actions, not an arbitrary punishment. This is definitely an example of natural consequences. Though, how much has insurance gone up? Insurance covered the damage, but which would have been a higher cost? The $3,000 out of pocket or the increased liability on her insurance? Because that should actually be factored into the consequences. You could have left her a percentage, 20 to 50%. I was looking for this. Absolutely agree. If insurance paid for it and you don't need the money for a deductible, why are you taking her entire paycheck? The logical consequence here was to have her pay the increase in insurance, maybe her phone bill or something, since she was on her phone while driving. Maybe lose phone and/or driving privileges for a while. But taking her whole paycheck seems extreme, even if you are saving it for her. So this has been a long thing coming. My soon-to-be husband has a sister. Let's call her Mia. Now, Mia and I do not click very well. I'm polite, but I wouldn't say we're friends. I felt his family forced me to make her a bridesmaid, or she would be sad. I'm going to be blunt. Mia is fat and very insecure about it. This has led bridesmaid dress shopping to be a nightmare. We could never find something she wanted, and all the other bridesmaids and I liked. So I gave everyone 2 options to vote on. Option 1 was getting a dress that can be styled multiple ways, or picking from a collection so everyone matches, but they'll need to pay for it. Option 2 was I would buy everyone's dress, but I chose the dress, and my decision was final. My 5 bridesmaids voted, and the option 2 won. So I picked out a blue strapless dress with a mini slit. I liked it, and I knew Mia would have an issue with it. I sent a picture to all the bridesmaids and confirmed the right size before I ordered. This is where it blew up. Mia was angry that I was picking a revealing dress. This resulted in an argument where she thought I was a huge jerk. I told her she could step down if she had issues with the dress. She tried to get the family on her side, but everyone knew I gave them options and had watched me struggle to find something everyone wanted. Edit. She voted for the option where I pay for the dress. I didn't ask her, since she and her mother-in-law announced she was one of my bridesmaids at a family gathering. The only way to keep peace with the whole family was to give her what she wanted. I've also gone to 4 different shops to find a dress for everyone. Edit to clarify. She voted for me to buy the dress. Everyone voted for that. You are the idiot in every way. You chose the dress with the sole purpose of bullying her into dropping out. Use your big girl words if you don't want her as a bridesmaid. Don't act like a mean middle school girl. You are a grown adult, and this is your wedding. You should be able to properly communicate instead of agreeing just to be passive-aggressive or letting the mother-in-law walk all over you. This will be a disaster. Going against the grain, I say, not the idiot. Mia voted for the you pick, and your word is final, aka the one where Mia doesn't have to spend money. She should have voted the other way if she didn't want that. The idiots here are mother-in-law and Mia. Mother-in-law for announcing Mia's a bridesmaid, Mia for being difficult. I'm fat, And if I don't fit the same dress as everyone else, I'd have voted for buying my own from a collection. Mother-in-law and Mia announced her bridesmaid status, specifically to force OP. OP's mistake was not stopping it then. Well, that clearly's worked out super well. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure where you got that idea, but it's not true. I'm sure we can find you a place in the wedding, but my bridesmaids are already set. Yes, it will be unpleasant, but the best time to set boundaries is the first time someone tries to stomp on them. The longer you let people push you around, the harder it is to stop them later. Everyone's the idiot here. Your mother-in-law for trying to shoehorn Mia as a bridesmaid, and you for not having the backbone to say that you will not have Mia as a bridesmaid. Neither of you is doing Mia any favors by coddling her instead of enforcing the crucial, not everything is going to go your way lesson from the start. I, 57 female, have 2 sons, Sam 28 and Alex 25. My husband Dean was more money-minded than me and took care of all of our finances. He passed away last year and left me with everything. I was recently diagnosed with cancer, and I thought it best to sort out all the finances. Alex helped me set up a meeting with Dean's lawyer, and I created a will. I chose to give the house to Alex and Sam 50-50. However, I added some stipulations for Sam. Sam is not great at managing his money and has gambled in the past. I personally don't agree with gambling, but Sam is an adult, and it is his money. However, I voiced my opinion about gambling more when Sam got married and had children, as his decisions would affect his wife and his children. Their marriage was rocky 3 years ago when Sam told his wife he had gambled away their rent and she was about to leave him. They managed to pull through, and since then, Sam has joined Gamblers Anonymous. I want my house to stay in the family, as it has for the past 3 generations, and my lawyer told me about a life estate with a remainder interest. I wrote this for Sam, so the house will go straight to my grandchildren after Sam. Sam will only be able to live, not sell and use the house, and after he passes, it'll go straight to his children. Alex doesn't have these restrictions, but technically wouldn't be able to sell either, as he doesn't have Sam's permission. Alex's portion is willing straight to him, though. I hosted dinner at mine, inviting Sam and his family and Alex, and showed them my will. Sam got very upset when I explained my will, and he said I don't trust him over something that happened ages ago, and that I favor Alex. He's not talking to me. I'm not sure if I'm in the right here, and I just want Sam to talk to me. Not the idiot. For similar moral reasons, my parents are bypassing one sib and settling their inheritance portion on their kids, grandkids, access at 18 for college fees, full access at 25. In the ensuing dust-up, my parents were like, look, it's not about you anymore. It's about your kids, and you should be okay with that. Since you're not, it solidifies our reasoning to give it to them. Exactly. Any addict will lie. They hold nothing sacred, most certainly not a valuable and nostalgic asset, such as a family home. That property would get liquidated in a heartbeat and vaporized at the casino. Your son's anger is likely proof that you made the right call. I think splitting makes you the idiot, though. I can appreciate wanting to keep the house in the family and wanting Sam and his children to get something from the estate, but you're engineering a conflict by not giving the house to one of them. It's untenable for 2 families to co-occupy a home under most circumstances. If you can't trust Sam, give the house to Alex and get Sam some other compensation from the estate. The only way to get a fair split on the property is by selling it and dividing the cash. This is my thought as well. If you don't allow them to sell the house, how exactly do you see this playing out long term? They can't or won't both live in the house together, raising your grandkids, as it doesn't sound like it's set up to be a 2-family home or a duplex. And then even once it's willed to the grandkids, in 50 years when your son passes, then what? It's a house co-owned by 3, 4, 5 people? You're signing your kids up for a lifetime of conflict by forcing them to co-own an asset that will take time and money to maintain, regular expenses that need to be worked out, etc. It's a recipe for disaster.